Nick, let's start with you, my friend. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've been in the business, and I got some questions for you. So go ahead and start us off.
So my name is Nick Jaafar. I am with Keller Williams Legacy in Dearborn. I've been in the business for about 7 years. I've had a team for over 3.
Yep.
Going on 4. We have myself, 3 other agents, 3 virtual assistants, as well as a director of operations. So we got a heavy back office.
Okay, good. And 7 years in the business. 2023, you closed 117 for $26 million. And with the same group, you're on pace for 200 units this year and $65 million in volume.
Yeah.
How's that happening? That's big. Yeah, that's big. Yep.
So I would say 3 things. First thing, our mindset. We switched our mindset to, we went from, a big interest rate hike. So there was a lot of adjusting there.
Yeah.
But our mindset, last year was kind of, I wonder how this is going to go. And this year, our mindset is we're going to dictate how it's going to go.
Who cares?
Yeah,
That's right.
We're going to dedicate, we're going to dictate the market and how many units we're going to do,
Yep.
not the interest rates and not the market. So mindset number 1.
Mindset, and you made a decision to ignore the noise and say we're going to make our own market.
100%.
Okay, love that.
That's number 1. Number 2, we hired a marketing agency that really stepped up our Instagram and our YouTube channel.
Sure.
Greg the GOAT, Greg Erlinger, if you're here, I know you probably are.
Yeah.
Greg, can you put your hand up, Greg?
Greg, where are you at? There he is.
Thank you.
There he is.
So Greg actually...
The only thing good to come out of Ohio, by the way, was Greg.
I can't disagree with you. We got, Jeff, we got one more.
All right.
That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice. Guys, when I say, all Michigan fans, when I say go, can you say blue? Go! All right. I'm sorry. All right. So, no. So I'm
Sorry. What did I tell you?
So my second thing was,
Yep.
Greg pushed us to do really push on our social media. So we upped our YouTube channel. We started a YouTube channel. We upped our Instagram and Facebook by hiring a marketing agency who
Yep.
made us think outside the box.
Yep.
And really changed the way we're doing things. And the results have been tremendous. And the third thing, we started getting coached by GloverU.
Yep.
Greg, shout out to Greg again. Really a phenomenal coach. I've been with a lot of coaching companies, and some of them are, one way, whether it's scripts or whatever. Some are numbers based, and they're very analytical. I'm not analytical, and I think not only do you guys relate,
Yeah.
you guys, not only do you guys relate, I would say you guys are doing it.
Yeah. That helps that we're in the trenches.
It
That's
really
right.
does.
Yep. So you told me your top 3 sources of business are database, social media, and commercial. So let's talk about repeat and referral just for a second, because of course all of us would like to do more database business. When you think about how, you mentioned that first, so I would imagine that's a big portion of your business. How do you?
93%.
Okay, the majority, good. So how do you keep in front of your database and add value so that they continue coming back to you?
So a few things. First things first, the way we interact with them from the beginning is, Bob Lucido yesterday called it Ritz-Carlton service. We call it 4 Seasons service.
Okay.
So in that regard, being proactive and answering the questions before the questions are asked.
Okay, how do you do that?
Just being proactive, setting the precedent, knowing what to expect.
Yep.
Make them feel comfortable with the process.
Yeah.
We don't even use the word problem. We use the word challenge, because problems are scary and challenging.
Negative.
Yeah. So,
well, that sounds a little bit like we teach at the end of every year. We write out the list of all the things that customers have concerns with.
Yes.
And then we ask, the question, what can we do so a customer never has to call us first?
100%.
If you've never written that question down, you should write that down. What can we do so a customer never has to call us first? Taylor, when she was on the operations side, would sit down with our operations team and they'd write that question up and they'd write all the things that consumers have problems with and then try to put steps in place to get ahead of it. It sounds like you've done some of that.
We did.
Yep.
Also, staying in front of them, we do one client event a year. That's one big client event. We do multiple.
What is your client event?
What is it?
What do you do?
We just invite to a restaurant, rent out a restaurant or a hall, something small. We invite everybody, past clients, and we ask them to invite somebody, make it very interactive. This year we have a plan of doing it somewhere where right when a park opens, there's a park opening, and we're going to plan on doing it there. We're going to be the first one, so we're thinking of something big for this year. We also do a lot of smaller events, events of like-minded individuals, maybe 5, 10, 15 people, bring them together, let them network.
What does that look like? So you identify people that are clients of yours that are also in business?
Yep.
Okay. And so give me an
different types
example.
of business. Like, for example, one that we do quite often, there's one of them is a lawyer, one of them is a business owner, one of them is a director at a mortgage company, and we help each other. We brainstorm. Sometimes we actually sit on Sundays, especially during the winter a lot. We sit on Sundays and brainstorm, write our goals down for the week. We do a lot of things that are.
You know what that reminds me of? I'm not sure, I don't remember who it was that I was coaching one year, but this was a few years back. I suggested, and honestly, this might work for you in your business model, and I bet this would work for you. So this would be a tip for you. You don't realize the exposure that we have to these types of conversations at conferences, with Eric Thomas and Ed Milet and, the people that we've had through the years, plus the conversations that we have about mindset and owning the morning and winning the day. That's all transferable to other businesses. So if you want to add another way to add value to your database, literally take your workbook, identify what's general enough to share with your database, and just put together subject line, how to live an unreal life, or how to live a more balanced life, or something general that you think that would appeal to them, and you can have bullet points of things that you've learned from a conference that you share with buyers and sellers. Right? I mean, you're probably not going to share the commission objection scripts with them. I wouldn't do that. You don't want to arm them with those. But you can actually share things that we hear to keep our mindset strong, to help them keep their mindset strong, because that's not stuff that most people have exposure to.
Correct.
So maybe consider that for that group.
That's a great idea.
Yep. What else? I know you do commercial business, and there's a handful of agents in here that handle commercial. How did you get into commercial? How do you get commercial business?
So first things first, I grew up around business right out of high school, so I was always in that circle. For someone trying to get into commercial business, and what I did myself, you want to be around a mentor or a coach or anyone who understands commercial, because it's very different. The language is different. The way you put a deal together is different, whether it's a purchase, whether it's a lease. So you want to understand what you're doing. You want to understand the language that these commercial brokers are speaking. And automatically you're going to have an advantage in marketing. And because residential.
How do I get into those environments though? If I don't have the relationship right out of high school, how would I get into a relationship with commercial brokers? Well,
I mean, you kind of just have to put yourself in that position. Hang around business owners. You don't have to provide any value, but you can listen. You can ask them questions.
That's really good advice, because generally speaking, business owners may have purchased commercial real estate
100%.
Before. So even if they're not a commercial real estate agent, you're involved in those types of conversations.
100%.
Yeah. And that could be, the local BNI, the local business network, or Business Networking International, any one of those groups as small business owners, right?
Absolutely. And something that was mentioned yesterday was, and I wrote it down and I'm going to implement it immediately, is collaborating with these businesses. Provide value to them. Make them like you. Because people do business with those who they like. And
That's right.
I can leverage my 3,500 followers on Instagram. By the way, Greg told me to ask, Nick Jaafar Realty is my Instagram. If you can follow if you want, no problem. Our YouTube channel is the Realtors Roundtable. And the Realtors Roundtable, I know the first day Bob was saying he started shooting these YouTube videos and called them a podcast. And everyone started laughing. And I'm laughing harder than anyone, because so did I. But the news is, our 5th episode came out yesterday. So operation number 1, and we go back, is to start putting those on platforms for podcasts. So Bob, thank you. Love the presentation and love your videos.
Yeah, awesome. That's really cool. All right, question for you. What have you... actually, no, I want to know about your daily schedule. What does your typical day look like, especially since you've gotten coaching with us? Because we're pretty strict on following a routine. So what does it look like?
So my daily schedule, I like to wake up at around 5 o'clock. I like to get to the gym at 5:25, work out till about 6:30. I live close to my gym, close to the office. At 6:30, I get home, try to get to the office by 7. First thing I do when I get to my office, my business plan is to my left, and my top 3 non-negotiable goals are in front of my computer. So the first thing I do before anything is read those 3 goals out loud, Sometimes there's someone in the office. My buddy is next door. Usually he's not at the office that early, but I read those out loud to myself, even though when no one's there. And then what I do is at 7:07, so I have this thing, everyone laughs at me. If I get a reminder when I get off stage to do something tomorrow, I ask Siri, hey Siri, remind me to contact business owners at 7:07 a.m. At 7:07 a.m., I get about 20 things that go off, 20 reminders.
Yep.
So I write down everything that came up at 7:07 a.m.
Yep.
And then I circle the top 3 that are most important, and I try to figure out something that you guys teach a lot at GloverU, what can I delegate?
Yeah.
Whether to a team member, whether to administration staff, and try to get those out of the way. I
Sure.
don't know if I could be like Bob Lucido and not touch a piece of paper after 9 a.m.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to do,
Yeah, yeah.
get pretty close. 9 to 12, try to make, phone calls. We have 3 admins, so we don't really want to do any paperwork.
Yep.
Productive activity.
Yep.
It's very important. And try not to do any appointments before 12.
No appointments before 12.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because we want to control our schedule. We want to control our schedule. We want to be in charge of what's going on before the afternoon hits.
Yeah.
So once the afternoon hits, we have a set schedule. We know where we're going to be. Give yourself some time between each appointment so you're never late. That's very important to us, punctuality.
So you don't do appointments in the morning because, of course, it'll throw off the rest of the day and it'll cost you income later. Right?
Correct.
So what time do you usually work till?
6, sometimes 8, sometimes 6.
Okay.
Around that time.
So, just before dinner, just after dinner.
That's why we like to get to the office early. And we get to the office early so we can do as much busy work before anybody calls.
Got it.
We can get all that stuff, and the goal is
Yeah.
to have a work-life balance. And I learned a lot of that this week.
Yep.
Because I want to get home not too late.
That's right. Yep. You've gone through Sales Rocket. What were 1 or 2 things you took away from that?
One thing about Sales Rocket, some of the stuff you know, some of the stuff you learn, but the most important thing is it gets you in the habit of doing it. It gets you in the habit of doing it, and it's a great push start. The whole team did Sales Rocket as well as myself. So one thing, it really pushes you. Number 2, it gives you different things to prospects.
Yeah.
But can I add a third one?
Yeah.
The 3-3-3 rule.
Yeah.
That's 3 by 3 by 3 is very important, something we've
3
started.
calls, 3 texts, 3 emails,
Yeah.
all within 3 days.
Yep.
And it sounds aggressive, but it's not.
No.
Right? I mean, the consumers don't know because they're getting inundated with notifications anyways, right?
They have a lot going on, so if you don't do the 3 by 3 by 3, chances are you're just going to get, missed.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Nick.
You got it.